for those who don't know, which I'm sure everybody do know who you are, can you just reintroduce yourself and what role you have in the city and what district that you represent?
Well, many of the people in this city know who I am. For those who may watch this who don't know, I'm Ernie Newton. I am a native of Bridgeport. I was born in Fort Belvoir, Virginia. My father was in the service. And went to Winston-Salem State University, Warren Harding High School, Lincoln School, Newfield School, McKinley School, now the Jetty Tisdale School. So I've been a fixture in this community for a long time. And what made me want to get involved, as I graduated from Winston-Salem State University, the motto was enter to learn, depart to serve. And so I came back to Bridgeport and in 1981 became the first black president of the city council at 25. Went on to the State House, where I served as deputy speaker, deputy majority leader. Went to the Senate, the only legislator in the state history to leave one chamber in leadership and go up to another chamber in leadership as deputy president pro tem. And decided in 2017 that I wasn't happy with the way the East End was looking. And so I decided to run for my old seat and won overwhelmingly. And I've been there since 2017. And many of you know I've made some mistakes in life. But God's been good to me and has given me an opportunity not only to have made some mistakes, have gone to prison. Today I'm the director of the Bridgeport Welcoming Center that welcomes people coming out of jail back into society.
How many years have you been a civil servant and a community activist and political figure?
Oh God, now you want me to tell how old I am. Now, I've been doing this for at least over 40 years.
Okay.
I started at 20-something. I'm 66 and a half today. And I've been doing this because everybody has a calling in life. And I've always felt my calling was helping people. Because when you do it unto the least of these, you do it unto God. And so that's where my reward has always come, that whatever I've ever tried to do was to uplift people's lives and their family lives. And what better way to do it than be in a position to make change? So I've been doing it a long time.
Why is it important for everyone to do their part in participating in some form of community service, whether it's small or large?
Listen, I always tell people this. When I grew up, we had a neighborhood where people were engaged. Right in this building, this is a beautiful new building, but in the old Newfield library, we used to have community gatherings, meetings, when things were going on in the community. People were involved. Today, you're lucky if you get 5 or 10 people at the Board of Ed meetings or city council meetings. People have to be engaged in your living conditions. But you got to realize, too, that a lot of people work, they got children, a lot of things go on, but you have to be engaged in your community because you're a part of the community. So you can do more as a citizen than holding office. Everybody thinks, oh, I got to hold an office to do something in the community. That's not true. You could do a cleanup. You could visit a school. You could talk to young people on the street. So there are a lot of ways of being engaged, but I agree it's very hard to get people to really understand that they got the power, but we don't use the power.
Do you recall any pivotal moment in your life that said, you know what, this is my calling?
I was a senior in high school, and I always tell this story. And I went to my guidance counselor for some direction on going to college. My guidance counselor said in these words, and maybe I didn't understand, but it was a pivotal moment in my life that I wasn't college material. Maybe I should work in a factory. Instead of getting angry, I began to look at black colleges. I was fortunate to go to Upward Bound with the late Ernie Parker at UB. And he exposed us to black colleges. Morgan State, Howard, Lincoln. I was fascinated. When she said that, I said, I'm going to show her. And I applied to a lot of black colleges. And Winston-Salem sent me a letter back saying that you have been accepted to attend Winston-Salem State University. And I would have to say that that was the pivotal moment, because I could have done what she said. I could have gave up. I said, wait a minute, who are you to tell me I'm not college material? So that was probably the most pivotal moment for me.
Next question. In your long, stellar years as a community activist and political figure, what was the most memorable occasion that vilified all the hard work you put into this?
Well, there are probably a few things, but I think one of the things was back in 1988, 89, when I first got elected, St. Mark's Daycare Center wanted a new facility for the kids. And they had an old, small building. I was able to get $1.9 million as a freshman legislator with the help of the late Senator Margaret Morton, and built a first-class daycare facility in the East End. That was one of probably the highlights that really got me thinking, wow, Ernie, you can make a difference. You can bring opportunities to your city. And that's just one of many things. We're sitting in a library that had a black developer who grew up in the East End with me that had an opportunity to build this building and build the other buildings on the civic block. I was like, it should have been happening. And I feel good because had I not been there, that opportunity may not have happened. But those are some of the things you see change. Change don't come overnight. Sometimes it takes 5, 10 years. But beginning to see the renovation of our community, and that's what's important.
How do you address those residents who seem to be losing faith within the local government, from failing to bring actual business with great paying jobs and other major developments into the city? And I'm talking about $25 and up. Most of these jobs that is paying $55K and up, you must leave the city. You're heading down to Norwalk, Stanford, or you're traveling up to New Haven or Hartford. Being the largest city in the state, why is that? What words of comfort and reassurance can you give to the people that these jobs and major developments are coming to Bridgeport?
Well, right now, the biggest thing is we've got construction jobs that you have to have license for. So we're trying to train young people for the jobs that the 21st century kind of jobs. You know, we did a bad job of promising people, if you take this training, take this training, and then there was no jobs for them. So we've got to do a better job at training people for where the market is going to be. Now, the market, when you think about it, a lot of whiz kids like your son, they Wall Street thinking, and so the times have changed to where we don't have the manufacturing kind of jobs where our parents may have worked at GE for 30 years, or the Bridgeport Brass, or, still They had plenty of those kind of jobs here in Bridgeport. So we've got to do a better job of working hard to bring the kind of development to this city and the kind of training that there'll be meaningful jobs for people when they do get training.
For someone who have been in this for X amount of years, how do you manage to stay relevant and in touch with the community, and not just on the East End, but the entire city?
Well, because when I grew up, we were all like family. And I know, listen, I may not know the grandchildren, nieces, nephews, but I know who you connected to. I might call your aunt's name, your grandma. So we've always had a connection. And I've always said this. I live in the neighborhood where I grew up. Mm-hmm. I grew up in the city of Bridgeport, where I would go to any side of town. I know people all over it. But I try to make people understand I'm one of you. On Saturdays, if I want to put my do-rag on, I put it on. When I want to put my jeans on, I put them on. When I put my shorts on, I put them on. So I never forgot where I came from. And I can hang out with the best. And that's why I'm relevant, because I'm one of you. And that's the way elected officials should be. You shouldn't just see me on election day. You shouldn't just see me when it's election time. And I made it my business that, Ernie, if you're going to be in here, you're going to always treat your constituents like family. You're going to go to their weddings, you're going to go to their funerals, you're going to let people see you, because that lets them know you care. See, I always tell people this. I'm not afraid of my people. I can walk down Stratford Avenue, I can walk down State Street, Main Street, because that's what we're supposed to do. Okay? And I make it my business to do those things, man. I'll go down to Newfield, I'll go to Winfield, I'll go wherever, because that's what your elected officials are supposed to do. Not just on election day, but you're supposed to be seen around the city. And so, I understood that early on, that being an elected official is more than a title. And you're on call 24/7. But I understand that. And I treat people like family. That's the difference with me. I can't speak for no other council people or governors or mayors, but I try to be in the presence of people to make them feel like Ernie's one of us, man.
Yeah. For someone who perhaps one day wants to become a city council, what advice would you give to them?
I would give them advice that if you're interested in, it's just like me. If I was interested in playing football, then that means there's certain things I have to do. I have to get engaged with football, learn what the sport is about. We have people who will say, I want to run for city council. I'll use city council. But don't know nothing about city council. When I was president at the age of 25, I read the whole charter. Why? Because I wanted to know what my role was, what my responsibilities. When I went to the House of Representatives, I read everything. Because I wanted to have the knowledge on what the position entailed. But today, we just jump up, I want to be a doctor, but don't want to go to med school. I want to be a politician, I want to run for office. You don't even know what the office does. If I wanted to be a city councilman, I would get a charter. I would go to the meetings. I would get the agenda. I would learn what it entailed to be whatever position I want to run for. Because you gotta have the knowledge. So when I came in, I read everything. I hit the ground running. Yeah. That's what I would encourage people to do. It's all right to be in public office, but you need to know what the office does. And that's the mistake we make. Like I said, football. If I want to be a football player, then I'm going to go find somebody that know about football to teach me. If I want to be a wide receiver, I need to know what a wide receiver does. Because he don't do what the quarterback does. So that's been 90% of our party. We put people in office, but they're not equipped. They don't know. They don't have a clue what the role is and what the responsibilities are. We just jump up. That's what I want to do. And that's why we're sometimes in this kind of shape we're in.
How can people get in touch with you?
Okay, you can go online. 2 ways you can do it. You can go City of Bridgeport. There's a site of Jump Up. City Council, hit City Council's got all our numbers. But I will leave my card with you so you can give my number out to everybody, and feel free to call me.
Okay, so we will definitely do that. Once again, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your extremely busy schedule to come down and sit with us and just kind of give us an insight of who Ernie Newton is